we went to school every day.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you did not go to school now. That was not a mm-mm. You went to school and you did your homework. That's what I'm saying. You came home on Sunday night by 7 o'clock. If you hadn't done your homework on Friday, you certainly did it on Sunday night before you went, you know. So we had it all intact, you know.
Mm-hmm. Now, as far as what kind of school and the neighborhood, did you grow up in an integrated neighborhood?
Yes. All of us were poor. Including them, you know. Sometimes they were poorer than we were, because my father did have a job, you know. A lot of people in the neighborhood did not have jobs, so. But it was the kind of neighborhood where you shared. You know, like when you did something wrong, they could chastise you as much as anybody else. But that was the way it was with food and everything else, you know. They had the place where you go and get potatoes, a big sack of potatoes, and all that kind of thing. Whatever it was, they had, you know, what was that called? Just to help, city help, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But they had a name for it. I can't remember what it was now. But everybody shared. You know, if you had many potatoes or rice or whatever, you know, you shared it. Whoever didn't have some, you share it.
And there was no sense of racial distinctions?
No, not really. Because as I said, they was as poor or poorer than we were. We did have a job, and my dad did. And Dad would go to work and come back home, and you know, everybody did what they were supposed to do.
It's interesting. Some of the visionaries whom we've interviewed who grew up in the North, particularly the males, would, if they grew up in an integrated neighborhood, they talk about how that, you know, they had there were really very few racial distinctions until they got to puberty. Until they got to the stage where it was like, you know, interests between boys and girls.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, the separations started to happen.
Well, it wasn't that many families, white families in our neighborhood, but there were a few. And we went to school with them. We didn't, you know, I really never knew prejudice until I started to sing and go south and that kind of thing. And you couldn't go into restaurants, and I was just grown, you know. I had children by then.
How did you feel when you ran into it? I mean, how did you react to it?
Well, I knew it was happening. I had studied it in school, and my husband was much older than I. He had, you know, he said, "You go in." Because I said, "I'm going there because I'm hungry." Then they said to me, he said, "You're from up north?" I said, "That's right, I sure am." So one day I didn't get, you know, whatever, but I guess I didn't know any better.
So you would just act as if there weren't any problems.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the best way.
And for the most part, they would just accept it.
Me. I had to take it out, but hey, it was all right long. I just wanted to eat.